In this video, I'll discuss what media literacy is, why it's important, and the 5 components underlying critical media literacy skills. When we talk about media literacy, what we're really talking about is the ability for individuals to access, analyze, evaluate, and communicate messages in a wide variety of forms. But beyond that is really the ability to critically question the media we consume, our consumptive behaviors, the impact of that on our lives and society around us. And within this, there's a process of critically analyzing and learning to create your own message. So the focus of this course will not only be on critically analyzing the media messages we consume, the structures behind how they're made, the implications and insinuations within their messages, but also how we as individuals can create our own media forms and platforms to maybe combat negative messages that are being spread throughout our society. Media literacy and having a good foundation of media literacy is important for individuals because within our society, mainstream media have such an impact on the world around us that they really do shape the way that we view the world and our perspectives of those around us, to include the individuals that we engage with. So if we think about stereotypes, social norms, our construction of reality, media play a very large role in shaping that perspective. And so being media literate really means to better understand how those media messages are created and the impact that it has upon us and those around us. To build a strong foundation for media literacy, there are 5 components of critical media analysis we must first understand. The first is that media messages are constructed. What that means is that literally the messages that we are consuming, if we think about them, if we break them down, they are put together by individual components. So think about a text, a book. Within a book, you have paragraphs, you have sentences, you have words. Within each word, you have meanings, you have definitions, you have ideas and connotations and denotations. If we think about multimedia, if we think about an image, we have that saying that an image is worth 1,000 words. If we break apart an image, not literally, but if we look at the individual components within any given image, we will see that it has within it many different meanings and a lot going on within that context. So if we take the image on this slide, for example, we could view this image from many different perspectives. We can make arguments about class. Who are the people within that picture? Who's doing the labor? We can make an argument about gender. Who is not doing the labor within that picture? We could talk about world politics. What country might this picture have been taken in? And different connotations and context around that. And so when we say media messages are constructed, it's not only physically constructed, like a video reel, but also ideologically constructed, that as an audience member, we're going to approach a message differently than our friends or our loved ones or strangers, that we're going to have different perceptions of that message and we're going to take away different meanings from that message. The second component is that media messages are produced within economic, social, political, historical, and aesthetic context. What that means is that every message that we receive was created in a certain time, in a certain place, in a certain space. And when we approach a media message, if we keep that in mind, we will be more literate of all the factors that go into play when understanding what that message means. So for example, if we consider the etymology of the word bitch and look at it over the course of history, time, politics, we see that the meaning changes. While for the most part it's always been a derogatory term towards women, we know as children, I'm sure we looked up in the dictionary, that it actually means or historically meant a female dog. But if we look at it in current standards, it may not be derogatory anymore. In your circle of friends or your friend's circle of friends, it may be that you say that in a casual fashion towards one another. But if we look generationally, there are women in our society who still take that term incredibly offensive, as well as economically. In certain circles, you will hear some women not utter that word to each other, but in others, it's completely fine. So even just that one word, when we think about its social, historical, political, economic context, it changes. It changes over time. It changes within individuals. It changes even on geographic regions. At this point, I'm going to end the video here to give you sort of a break, just to sort of think over all the things that I've been discussing thus far. I will pick up with the last 3 components in the next video of this sequence.